Welcome to Tortoise Time. This episode is based on tortoise facts. So, the Mojave Desert Tortoise has been protected under the Endangered Species Act since 1989. What this means is they cannot be hurt or sold. They may be gifted, so you may receive one as a gift, but only in the 4 states of Nevada, Arizona, California, and Utah. A clutch consists of approximately 6 to 12 eggs, and they reproduce approximately ages of 13 to 15, and they stop reproducing approximately age 50, very similar to humans. There are tortoise groups out there, but you are not required to register. There are currently over 250,000 tortoises in captivity. That references in the backyards as pets. The average lifespan of a desert tortoise in the wild is 50. Average lifespan in captivity is 80 to 100. Very special requirements for a healthy tortoise as a hatchling, so you can look at some of our previous videos on that. Their desired temps are 70 degrees to 100 degrees. We have certain topics of estivation, brumation, and hibernation, all basically a matter of semantics, but we will go over that. Again, they are protected under the Endangered Species Act, and it is against the law to take one out of the wild and put it in captivity. And also it is against the law to take one from captivity or the hatchlings and put them in the wild. Guys, it's like 6 o'clock. 6 p.m. It's pretty hot out here in the 90s. There we go. Hi, sweetheart. Come on out. There are 4 that live in there. So, 4 that live in there, deep inside. Not too deep. Not deep enough to keep them cool. That looks like Mia. So, Mia's coming out now. And they are now going to get sugar snap peas and some romaine. All right, let's go over some basic facts. These are Mojave Desert Tortoises. They have been protected under the Endangered Species Act since 1989. You are only allowed to have them in 4 states. That would be Nevada, California, Arizona, and Utah. And they are different than all the turtles that you see across the United States. They are herbivores. That means they eat plants. They don't eat meat. They are super sweet. They do not swim. Okay? Turtles swim. Most turtles, like snapping turtles, I think the red ones, I don't know. Most of them, I think, are omnivores. They eat meat and plants. But there we go. There's one more. That looks like little princess coming out. Now, I know who's who based on the shape of their shells. And the last one is, okay, I was wrong, guys. The last one there is Donatello. The first one that came out is Merida. Sometimes I get Merida mixed up with Donatello because you guys are so full of dust because they're very similar in shape. But she is the smallest. Okay, and this is Princess, very smooth. They're very dirty now because when they're sleeping, they kind of kick the dirt around. Let's give you a couple more tortoise facts. We have, it's good for them to eat romaine. They get a lot of their water, most of their water they get from their food. Romaine is about 95% water, 5% nutrition. But sugar snap peas have lots of nutritional value, and that's what they're eating right now. Let's see, let's just put you over here, little Merida. Oh my goodness sake, sweetheart. All right, these guys are all 3 and 4 years old. Tortoises hear through vibrations. They don't have ears. They're very sweet. They're very affectionate. They like to be hand-fed. That simply means like I would be holding the bean while they were eating it. And they don't have teeth. They have beaks. They live to be approximately 80 years old in captivity. In the wild, they only live to be about 50. And because they are protected under the Endangered Species Act, that means, basically what that means is that you will get in big trouble legally if you hurt one. If you can't sell them, you cannot take them out of the wild and put them in captivity. You need to leave the wild in the wild. But also vice versa. You can't take one that's born into captivity and it's a domestic tortoise and go put it in the wild. You cannot do that. That's against the law. They are protected. So they are just, there's lots of things that go with building in the states, the 4 states where they can live, which is, again, California, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. So there's certain requirements for builders. They have to make sure that there's no tortoise burrows and no tortoises living there before they build. So interesting. These are not just basic turtles. It always bothers me when people call, oh yeah, it's a nice turtle. I have a turtle too. Well, guess what? These are Mojave Desert Tortoises, and they are, they're not your average turtle. All right, they've got long legs, they have little tails. They like to climb on top of each other. 3 of these are from the same clutch, and this one little one right here, little Merida, see her little legs. She's a different clutch. All right, we have 2 big ones up top. One is 80. Excuse me, guys. One is 80 years old. The other is 8, but he's a big, I'm sorry. How old is he? He's only 6. He's a big 6-year-old, very big 6-year-old. So let's give you some more sugar snap peas there, baby cakes. Okay. And I'll give everybody some loves. They like to be pet under the shell, inside their legs, on the top of their heads. Also under their heads, but they're eating right now, so I don't want to bother them. But I like to give them the human feel. And they hear my voice. And those are just some really good tortoise facts. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm not a doctor, but I've had tortoises most of my life. And those are some good tortoise facts there. You want to make sure that you have, if you have a pool, you want to make sure that you have it walled so they cannot get to it because they will drown. Lots more effects to come. Thanks for watching. All right, you want to remember that you can water your tortoise and then their shell looks all beautiful. They were so dirty just a little bit ago and I tilted them to get the dirt off. They take in water through their shells. All right, so another thing, another difference between turtles and tortoises. As they grow, you see like little threads come, you see they get more rings and all that. That's what happens with desert tortoises, but turtles actually shed these scutes annually, so they shed them. Mojave Desert Tortoises do not shed their scutes. So just another difference. All right, I'm trying to keep things clean and nice for y'all. Okay. Hi, Sweet Pea. And here's Charlie, the 80-year-old. He's the grumpy grandpa. Hi, Sweet Pea. Hi. How are you? How are you? Yeah. I brought you some stuff. Yeah, I did. I brought you some stuff. Okay.
So as the evening shadows grow long and night begins to fall, the Mojave Desert Tortoise seeks out a secure place to sleep for the night. They will look to their burrows and crawl in there and put their little heads on their little pillows and sleep through the night. They ended another beautiful day here at the Chris and Ginger Vegas Tortoise Ranch. And they're happy. They've had love, they've had food, they've had all their needs met, and now they're safely tucked away in their burrows for the night. So good night, Merida. Good night, Donatello. Good night, Princess. And good night, Mia. Good night, Littlefoot. Good night, Charlie. Sleep well.